Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the moon in the seventh house in a natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the moon placements in the houses. They were a little bit concise. Some people may have referred to them as snappy. So what I decided to do was make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up, well, the moon in the seventh house is like the moon in Libra, but naturally you got to blend in the zodiac sign. With it, somebody with the moon in Gemini in the seventh house will be going to be a lot different than, say, somebody with the moon in Sagittarius in the seventh house, as an example. Now, the moon in astrology is connected with our emotional needs. So, having the moon posited in the seventh house in a natal chart, those emotional needs may be tied into one's to relationships, the important friendships, a marriage partner, significant other. Um, Matters that are associated with competition. The moon is in Sagittarius in the seventh house. Sports competition may be emphasized, or have, say, the moon in Gemini in the seventh house. It may be more like cerebral, intellectual type of competition. Um, if you have, it's also, the seventh house is also connected with a grandparent, open adversaries. I wouldn't say the emotional needs are connected with open enemies, though, but to be able to defeat them, court, as an example, it can be something of an emotional need. To be able to show that you can conquer them, that could be a possibility. It can be, also too, seventh house is about compromise, negotiation, reconciliation. So these are things that you may feel you need to do often to have just balance in general in your life. Now, seventh house is also associated with emotions. So so what it is that it's the sector of life where you may bring a lot of that emotional energy to, you may be more emotional about. So you may be more emotional about open enemies than most people. Matters that are concerning a grandparent, a significant other, important friends, marriage partner, your relationships in general. Matters that are associated with arbitration, negotiation, competition. These are things, matters just with fairness, justice, things being equitable. Those are things that you may be more emotional about than the average person, where you express a lot of emotional energy. Now, another thing too is that when you look at the moon in astrology, it's also connected with our reactions and responses. So, reactions and responses in general may be more emphasized. It could be in legal matters, matters with the law, a grandparent, significant other, marriage partner, important significant friendships. As some examples, matters that are associated with arbitration, negotiation, compromise, reconciliation. Those are things, just your legal matters in general, matters that involve, fairness, finding balance, competition. These are the things which, you may emphasize responding more, and whether, it could just be responding to those things quicker or what have you. These are, or more frequently, this is where a lot of your, responsive energy may be injected into. Now, another thing too is about the moon in the seventh house. Well, the moon in astrology is associated with our mother and family. So, these people may play more of an integral role in matters associated with competition, or it could be a partnership situation, like a business, partnership situation. Say if the moon is in Capricorn in the seventh house, that partnership may be connected with something with masonry, dentistry, accounting, you know, some kind of something with business, government work. If it's an Aquarius in the seventh house, there may be something involving computers, electronics, astrology, astronomy, innovation, as some examples. And also, too, The mother and family in general may be more involved, just with, as far as your important friendships, your marriage, the significant other you have, matters that are associated with contracts, agreements, matters of compromise, negotiation, reconciliation, agreements in general, fairness, legal matters. This is where the mother and the family may figure more prominently. Now, in some cases, the mother or another family member may wind up becoming an open adversary at some point. And the moon in the seventh house could also indicate that you may have a moody or temperamental, significant other in some cases, but one that may also actually be very, nurturing, caring, and sympathetic. Now, the moon in astrology is also associated with the public, so having the moon positive in the seventh house, well, this could be a position where you may be involved in some kind of public competition, whether it could be the local recreation sports league, whether it's something of a more cerebral nature or what have you. It might be something involving business in some cases. You may be dealing with the public in matters, with art, or you could, it could be somebody who works as an attorney that deals with the public, something, associated, with arbitration, that's public related. And the open, and if you have any issues with open enemies, this could be something that has greater propensity of going public, more so than in most instances. Now, another thing, too, about the moon in astrology, it's connected with our unconscious side. So, the unconscious side, which is your moon, that may be expressed more, with a grandparent, toward a significant other, marriage partner, significant friendships. It may come out more, in matters of negotiation, in your dealings, with open enemies. It may be expressed more, maybe through art as an example. I mean, let's say this is seventh house corresponds with Libra in astrology. It has a connection with art. So let's say if you have the moon in Aquarius in the seventh house in natal chart, it could be through some kind of electronic or very innovative art. Pisces may be like abstract art, something with fiction and fantasy. That's artistic. As Gemini may be animated art, as another example. Now, and also too, it could be, well, not could be, the moon in astrology is also associated with our memories, so what we may, reflect on, reminisce about. So the moon in the seventh house, this could be, somebody, that emphasizes, reminiscing. Memories are strongly tied into competition, matter, legal matters, legalities, situations with negotiation, compromise, reconciliation, matters with others in general, their important friends, a grandparent. It could be, too, just matters where, just doing things with others in general, things in which you collaborated with others on projects and endeavors. This is something too, when you look at the seventh house, is also about, diplomacy, arbitration. So those are things that may apply as well. Now, another thing about the moon in astrology, it can reflect, it's connected with nurturing and caring. It's protective energy. So if you have the moon, positive in the seventh house in the natal chart, this is where, you may bring a lot of that nurturing, caring, sympathetic, protective energy in matters associated with a grandparent, marriage partner, significant other, matters that are, associated. It could just be with others in general, but your important friends as well. And you may care more for matters that are, legal related matters more so than others, and be more protective of those matters as well. And the thing about this too is, and also the mother, going back to the mother and family, these are people that may sometimes be embroiled in a legal situation with you, whether it could just them being helping you and assisting you in those matters. In some cases, it could be where you're dealing with them as an opponent or adversary in a legal situation. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.